Good morning, Year 7. This is Lesson 4, Geography, following on from Miss Montgomery's lesson about earthquakes. Today's lesson will focus on volcanoes, the features of a volcano, and then it will look at the effects of a volcano, and especially how we develop our points from a basic point to a developed idea. So if we just have a look at the PowerPoint now, we've got a quick do it now. What do you know about volcanoes already? If you just want to pause that and have a go, just think about it. Okay, so like we said, features of a volcano and effects of a volcano. This will help with the work on class charts. And just a reminder really, with any work that you do, please email it in to teachers. We'll obviously look to reward that on class charts. So please, just, if you haven't given work in yet, please send in the work to your teacher. I'll put the email addresses of the respective teachers at the end of this slide. So we studied the picture briefly. We'll return to that in a second. We're going to recap the 6-mark question set by Miss Montgomery last lesson on comparing the effects of an earthquake. Then we're going to look at what's inside a volcano, and then look at how we develop our point, and then finish off with the presentation poster activity. So if we go back to the first slide, what do you know about volcanoes already? Just think about any points that you've had. There are different types of volcanoes. There are different parts of it which we'll look at. We don't do the different types too much, but we might deviate today and just look at those different types briefly. So the 6-mark question that was set is been annotated. It's got box the command word, it's underlined the keywords, and it's had a glance back at the question. You've got have a look through your answer. If you did this work from lesson 3 last week, have a look through your answer. And again, these mark schemes are very similar. 1 to 2 if you've made simple points. If you've just said the Nepal earthquake had many deaths, that is a typical sentence in a level 1 answer. If you said the Nepal earthquake had many deaths due to the fact that it had poorly constructed buildings, you've developed a point there. But again, there's not much comparison, so you might want to say the Nepal earthquake had more deaths than New Zealand because it had poorly constructed buildings. This is because it's an LIC, it lacks the money, the wealth to invest in high quality buildings. That would be a level 3 answer. You've had keywords, you've developed your point, and you have compared. So just have a look through your answer from last week to see where your answer fits. On this, whenever you get comparison questions, it's really good to use words like more, less, greater, fewer. If you're using these sort of words, that's going to show the examiner or your teacher that you're fully compared, and mean that your answer doesn't get cut off at 4 out of 6. It can access those high marks. So what was covered for last week were the key terms: LIC, low income country; HIC, high income country. And then what's inside a volcano? I would like you to just sketch what you think a volcano looks like inside. So this is my terrible one on the right here. It hasn't got any labels in. I want some labels, and just have a go. Put down as many things as you think. What's the difference between lava and magma? For students that are stuck, you might be thinking about where to put the magma chamber. Is it at the top? Is it at the bottom? And where would the volcanic cone be? If you just want to have a go at this for 3 minutes, and then pause the video and have a go. Okay, have a look at your work and just check the diagram here. You're welcome to pause this whenever you like. There's got quite a basic but very clear diagram of a volcano and inside a volcano. This would be a composite volcano. We'll come on to that shortly. So there's lots of terms in there. If some of these terms are unfamiliar, feel free to pause this slide. So it's got some of these that are explained on here. It does say about the main two different types of volcano: composite and shield. as it's got a composite there made of layers of ash and cooled lava. They're alternated. They're composed of different things. Whereas a shield is very flat. It's got runny lava. It doesn't. The land doesn't. Well, it's due to the difference between the two volcanoes is due to the lava or the magma that's produced. The magma has if it's got a higher or lower silica content, it means that it might cool quicker. If it cools quicker, it can build up its height a bit like it does here. So if it can cool quicker, it turns into rock. So it's going to be have sort of thicker viscous lava. And whereas if a shield volcano will be flatter, it will have runny lava, so it won't generate the same height that you'll see here. The typical volcano looks like a composite volcano, but there are two main different types. The shield volcano contains basaltic lava. It doesn't cool as quickly, so it can travel quite large distances. And when we look at effects, it can produce quite damaging lava flows. So that's a big difference between a composite volcano and a shield volcano. So how runny the lava is and the height. So they're the key words. And then we're just going to have a look at the effects of a volcano. And this is where really you'll need to get onto YouTube and get researching. There's plenty of excellent documentaries as well. And we're just going to have a look at two today. We're not going to play them. I know there's been some issues with sound before, so we're just going to show you where they are and give you the links, and then you can have a look at them as well. So if we just go, so this link here is the Volcanoes 101, which I've taken 2 screenshots from. If we go and find them on here, you've got this video by National Geographic. It goes through like the basics. It goes through about where they're found, what the different types are, what's in the structure, and then if you get onto anything from 2 minutes 15 onwards, it starts to talk about the effects of a volcano. So that's worth having a look at. I've paused it on. Here, where you've got just after 4 minutes, where you've got they start to talk about the effects of ash falling on the surface. To develop your points in geography, you cannot just say volcanoes produce ash. You have to take that point a bit further. So the bit that I've emboldened and the sentence before that will really help you get that extra mark. So volcanoes produce ash. When ash reaches the surface, the ash can make the soil fertile. This means the land can produce good quality crops. You've put in a keyword and you're developing your point, saying a bit more. So I want you to have a look at a few videos about volcanoes, and there is one really, really good documentary, Expedition Volcano on iPlayer. And they look at Mount Nyiragongo, which is in Africa, and they look at how they can tell and detect earthquakes. So they go with a team of scientists. It's really, really good. So I would suggest that. They get quite close, and it's quite a cool job if you're ever thinking of doing that sort of thing. So that's your chance really to research and have a bank of effects. Primary, what happens first? Secondary, what happens as a result of that? Generally, you find primary, you're talking about hours and days after an eruption. Secondary, your months and years. A common one might be, again, lava flows may damage houses. Primary, this may lead to permanent homelessness. Secondary, that might take months and years after your temporary shelters and so on. After you've done that research, I want you to create a poster with the features and effects of a volcano. So I want a better one than my terrible offering here on a volcano. I want it to look a bit more like this. And then I want you to add in as many effects as well on the volcano, and try and think about those you pushing for the higher grades. Think about how the effects would be different in different countries. How would they be different in an LIC? How would they be different in an HIC, and why? That will build on your understanding from Miss Montgomery's lesson last week. So keywords, developed points, and including facts from research. And please, like we said before, email this to your teachers. It'll be a massive, massive help, and it'll get you a lot of pride pounds that I'm sure we'll be able to spend when we're back in. That's the link for the Expedition Volcano on iPlayer. There are plenty more great documentaries as well. And lastly, these are the contact details for all the teachers concerned. And just from me, I really hope everyone is safe. You're getting on with the work okay. And if you've got any questions at all, please do not hesitate to contact me. Okay, stay safe.